Well, good afternoon. This is an outline of my presentation. I'm just going to give an update on the statewide pavement conditions and some of the trends that we're seeing. Then I'm going to discuss the pilot that we did last year for PMIS data collection. Then some analysis, preliminary analysis of the pilot for the PMIS data collection. Then I'll end up with a summary and conclusions. This chart shows the statewide trends. And as you can see from this chart, we declined in 2014. Our scores declined. And any time we make gains, we're not able to sustain these gains. If you look here in 2003 or 2 when the condition goal came, we made gains in 3, 4, 5, then we started sliding down. In 2010, we made some gains, but they didn't last, and we started going down. Last year, we also made some gains, but we still went down. Although we went down, but we still have a good score of 87.19, which is kind of the third highest score over the last more than 10 years. These are some of the trends for the stresses for the different pavement types, for flexible pavements, for CRCP, and for jointed concrete. So we're seeing more shallow rotting, more deep rotting, more alligator cracking. We're seeing less failures, more longitudinal, more transverse, more block, and less patching. And for CRCP, we're seeing less pall cracks, less punch-outs, less asphalt patches, but we're seeing more concrete patches, which makes sense. They're probably repairing these things with the patches. And for jointed concrete, we're seeing more failed joints and cracks, less failures, less shattered slabs, and more slabs with longitudinal cracks and more patches, and probably the patches to repair the failures and the shattered slabs. Again, this is the second decline in the last 4 years. Although we declined, but this is still a high number. This is probably the third highest number over the last more than 10 years. The other thing that probably contributing to the decline, that we continue to see an increased activities in oil and gas developments. This is a map that shows the hot spots in the state, and you can see that the changes in the percent lane miles, good or better. The ones that are in the pink, these are the ones that dropped more than 20. Here dropped between 5 and 20, 0 to 5. You see Carnes, there is here, we have a lot of, the areas here that, the scores are declining. And this kind of gives us a feel of the effect of the oil gas activities on our scores. As a pavement manager, or the purpose of pavement management is to improve the overall conditions within a given funding by applying longer lasting treatments at the right time, at the right location. So that should be, when we're managing our assets, that should be our goal. This is a map that we did plot for the PM projects and the condition scores. And this map is for the Tyler districts. We all know that preventive maintenance, you should do preventive maintenance on pavements that are in good condition. PM is not a good candidate if the pavement is in poor, fair, or very poor condition. And so we plotted the PM projects against the against the condition score. And you can see here, this is a project that we're doing PM work that's probably in a poor condition. Here, you can see we're doing a PM project on a pavement that's kind of not in very good condition, and here, and here. I know we're trying to stretch the dollars, we're trying to buy time, but if we do PM on roads that are not in good conditions, these treatments are not gonna last. What you do in 2 or 3 years, maybe these roads are gonna fail again, and you're gonna come back again and have to do something. Maybe we're better off, instead of doing 3 projects, just doing 1 project and doing the right treatment. I didn't mean to pick on Tyler. We see the same trends for the 25 districts. Here is Lubbock. If you have also some projects here that you're doing PM, and here you're doing some PM that I think may not be good candidates for PM. And here is Beaumont. Also, you see the same thing. As I said, you see the same trends in the 25 districts. I know to build the proper pavement structure, it costs money, and it will probably cost a lot of money, but not doing the right treatment at the right time, at the right location, probably cost us more money, because we have to come and fix these roads every 2 or 3 years. One of the ways to kind of evaluate if the pavement is a candidate for PM project or not is do the FWD testings and look at your deflections. And they are a good indicator whether this is a good candidate for PM or not. The other topic that I'm going to touch on quickly is the pilot for the PMIS data collection. We did a pilot. Our current process, we have a statewide contract for visual rating that TxDOT staff audit these measurements by the contract with TTI staff, and the measurements are windshield surveys. And we collect the rut and ride in-house using TxDOT equipment and TxDOT operators. So we did a pilot in 2 districts. We wanted to select a metro district because of the challenges of collecting into a metro district and an urban district. So we collected in Houston and Bryan. And we wanted to collect in districts that have a variety of distresses, because we don't want them to go to districts where all the scores are almost 100. We awarded the contract for 2 vendors, Fugru and Pathway. And we did some preliminary analysis. It was a preliminary in-house analysis that was done by using TxDOT staff. The final analysis are going to be done by CTR. We've had challenges storing the data and putting it into the PMIS in the mainframe. So this is a very preliminary analysis. These are the IRI scores by districts. This may not be kind of 100% accurate because these are not balanced samples. We don't have the same sample size for the 2 vendors because of the issues that we have with storing the data. But both equipment were certified at TTI, so we expect the IRI measurements to be close. So I'm just going to go over these fast. We did it also by pavement type and for highway classifications and for the ride scores. And we did this by pavement type. And we also did comparisons of the shallow rotting. And we use different technology. They use laser sensors. We use acoustics. And again, the sample size were not the same. Again, so this is preliminary analysis. Some of the lessons learned from the pilot that this was the first time for us to put an RFP for a project like this. Some of the things that we need to clarify it or spell it more in the proposal. You know, we had problems or challenges storing the data from the vendor. I think before we award, we need to do a full process storage test. And we had them collect a small section before the RFP and submit it with the RFP. Probably we need to have them collect a bigger sample size for different pavement types and check and see whether they gave us the correct format or not. In summary, our pavement conditions in FY14 declined, and one of the reasons probably is the increased oil and gas activities. I think preventive maintenance should be applied for pavements in good conditions. We did a pilot for the PMIS data collection, and we're still going to do more analysis of the different types of distresses after we finish storing all the data. It's been a challenge storing the data in the mainframe. And we learned a lot of lessons that will help us if we decide to go with a statewide contract. That's all what I have. When you don't get questions, you either did a really good job or a horrible job. Okay, Steve?
You talk about having a problem with the data on the mainframe. Did y'all consider switching to Oracle or something like that?
We're switching to the new system, Steve. We just signed the contract for a new pavement management system, but in order to do the analysis, we have to store it in the mainframe. And the mainframe, it doesn't tell us, you know, why it's not storing or where the error is. We've made some progress, and we're hoping that within the next month we'll be finished with this process.